Members, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, I welcome you all to the 33rd session of the Youth Parliament and hope today's session will be fruitful. Members, to take oath of affirmation. Secretary General, please.
Shri Sean, who stands elected from the Nabarangapur constituency of Odisha, will now take the oath or affirmation. Shri Sean, please. Shri Sean, do you want to take the oath or affirmation?
Oath, please.
In which language would you like to take the oath?
In Hindi, please. मैं शॉन जो युवा संसद का सदस्य निर्वाचित हुआ हूँ, ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूँ कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत की संविधान की प्रति श्रद्धा रखूंगा, देश की प्रमुखता और एकता बनाए रखूंगा तथा जिस पद को मैं ग्रहण करने वाला हूँ उसके कर्तव्यों का श्रद्धापूर्वक निर्वहन करूंगा। धन्यवाद।
We are delighted to welcome you.
Srimati Shivapriya, who stands elected from the Ernakulam constituency of Kerala, will now take the oath or affirmation. Srimati Shivapriya, please. Madam, do you want to take the oath or affirmation?
Oath, please.
In which language would you like to take the oath?
In English, please. I, having been elected as the member of the lower house of the Parliament, do hereby swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by the law established, and that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of my country, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Thank you. We are delighted to welcome you. Honorable members, as we meet today, it is my sad duty to inform the House of the demise of Sri Suresh Chandra. Sri Suresh Chandra was a seasoned Indian politician who served as a member of Youth Parliament from the Kairana constituency of Uttar Pradesh. He provided a new boost to the aspiration of his people, allowing them to finally look at a government which is recognized across the country. He worked for the nation even during hostile conditions. It is a moment of deep sorrow, and we pray for the dear departed soul. May his soul rest in peace and quiet. Honorable Speaker, I rise to pay my tribute to the eternal soul. He had played a crucial role in the development of the country, and it is a great loss for the nation. He proposed to open Sainik schools. He was a man known for hard working. Though he was diagnosed with cancer, he was very particular about his duties. Madam, I take this opportunity to express my deep condolence to the bereaved family.
आदरणीय अध्यक्ष श्रीमान सुरेश चंद्र भारत की राजनीति के एक ऐसे स्तंभ थे जिन्होंने समाज से सामाजिक भेदभावों को पूरी तरह से मिटाकर गरीब बच्चों के लिए शिक्षा प्रदान करने के कदम उठाए। धन्यवाद।
The House may now stand in silence for a while to express our deep sorrow. Madali.
Yes, ma'am.
Prime Minister to introduce new ministers.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय जी, आपको और आपके माध्यम से संसद को तथा मेरे सहयोगियों को नवनिर्वाचित मंत्रियों से मिलवाने में मुझे बेहद खुशी महसूस हो रही है। श्रीमती श्रुति, माइक्रो स्मॉल एंड मीडियम इंडस्ट्री मिनिस्टर। श्री अक्षय, एग्रीकल्चर मिनिस्टर।
Now the question hour begins. Question number 101, Sri Hari.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, will the Minister of Finance be pleased to state whether the government is contemplating to introduce Indian national rupee for international trade settlement as a mechanism? Thank you, Madam.
Minister of Finance, please.
Yes, Madam. The Reserve Bank of India has allowed invoicing and payments for international trade in Indian rupees via AP. Circular number 10 RBI 2022-23 dated 11/7/2022 on international trade settlement in Indian rupees and a broad framework for cross-border trade transaction in INR under Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999 has been delineated by the RBI in the said circular dated 11/7/2022. And the circular lays down that all exports and imports should be denominated and invoiced in rupees, and the exchange rate between the currencies of two trading partner countries may be market determined. And the RBI has put in place the arrangement for invoicing, payment and settlement of exports and imports in order to promote the growth of global trade with emphasis on exports from India, and to promote the increasing interest of global trading community in INR. Thank you, Madam.
Any supplementary questions?
Honorable Speaker, Madam, whether the government had introduced trading in rupee with those countries also with which it has trade deficit, other than those from where the oil is imported, and if so, the details thereof. Thank you, Madam.
Minister of Finance, please.
Yes, Madam. The framework put in place by RBI for allowing invoicing and payments in INR is applicable for any partner country seeking to undertake trade with India. In terms of para 10 of RBI circular, the approval process is that for opening a special INR Bastro accounts, and banks of partner countries may approach authorized bank dealers in India which may seek approval from RBI with all details of the arrangement. And the AD bank maintaining the special INR Bastro accounts should ensure that the correspondent bank is not from a jurisdiction or a country which is updated in the new FATF public statement on high risk and non-cooperative jurisdiction, which has called for countermeasures. Thank you, Madam.
Question number 102, Sri Shravan.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, will the Minister of Environment, Forest, Climate Change be pleased to state the salient features of the Plastic Waste Management Rule 2022, whether the government has proposed to phase out all other plastic items such as packaging of milks, chips, bread, etc. and other items banned by the government from the first effect of 1st July 2022. Thank you, Madam.
Minister of Environment, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has notified the guidelines on extended producer responsibility for plastic packaging via plastic waste management rules on 16 February 2022. The key highlights of the guidelines are: 1. Mandatory registration of PIBOs and PWPs through a centralized online portal. 2. Coverage of 4 categories of plastic packaging, namely rigid packaging, flexible packaging, multi-layered packaging and compostable plastic packaging. 3. Clearly defined targets for EPR. 4. Coverage of recycled plastic content in plastic packaging. 5. A centralized online portal for the implementation of EPR. 6. Provision for sale and purchase for the surplus EPR certificates. 7. Levy for environmental compensation for non-fulfillment for EPR obligations. And finally, provision for verification, audit and monitoring for the obligated entities. Thank you, Madam.
Any supplementary questions?
Yes, Madam. I have a supplementary.
Yes, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, please provide the reasons therefore along with the time frame for complete fees out of all plastic items to achieve the target of total ban on plastic and the details of efforts being undertaken by the government to spread awareness among the masses. Thank you, Madam.
Minister of Environment, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, the Union Government, through various central ministries and government agencies, has been involved in generating public awareness on plastic waste management and elimination of single use of plastics. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has launched Prakriti, a mascot, on 5th April 2020. 3 videos of Prakriti has been made on ban on single use of plastics and had been translated into 19 different languages. These had been shared with states and duties for further dissemination. A dedicated webpage with all awareness materials has been created for wider dissemination and use by the stakeholders. And also an e-pledge on Swachh Bharat Harit Bharat, a green pledge, has been launched on My Government platform for generating public awareness among citizens. Also, a 1-month-long Pan-India awareness campaign was conducted from 1st July 2022 along with states and duties. Thank you, Madam.
Question number 103, Srimati Parivita.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, will the Minister of Defence be pleased to state whether the government has taken note of Chinese attacks in the border areas of the country, including Ladakh region of the Jammu and Kashmir? Thank you, Madam.
Minister of Defence, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, there is no commonly delineated line of control in the border areas between India and China, and there are areas along the LAC where both the sides have different perceptions of LAC. The government has taken measures to ensure that the defense forces are in a state of readiness to meet operational and security challenges. Thank you, Madam.
Any supplementary questions?
No, Madam. I have got clear response to what I have wanted to know. Thank you, Madam.
Question number 104, Srimati Dhanashree. Madam Speaker, will the Minister of Railway be pleased to state whether it has come to the notice of the government that the people residing in Heroes Nagar area are suffering due to the absence of railway underpassage that year near Valakuni station in Kerala? B. If so, the details thereof. C. Whether the government is aware of the insistence of the railway that the expense to be incurred on the construction of underpassage has to be drawn by the state government or any local bodies. Thank you, Madam. Minister of Railway, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I would like to inform the Honorable Member that there is a request from the local populace for construction of railway underpass at Heroes Nagar. The site has been examined and observed that there is no level crossing at Heroes Nagar near Vallikund railway station. RUB at this location is also technically not feasible due to less bank height and waterlogging issues. However, road over bridge on this location can be considered on deposit terms provided state government and proposed to bear 100% cost on construction and maintenance to its feasibility. No proposal in this regard has been received from state government. Thank you, Madam.
Any supplementary questions? No, Madam. Question number 105, Srimati Kritya.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, will the Minister of Labour and Employment be pleased to state whether the government is aware that after some improvement in May, the unemployment rate is soared to June and 7.8%. 7.8%. According to CMI's latest data, the details are thereof. B. Whether the government has taken note of the above data released by CMIs. If so, the measures taken by the government to address the issue of unemployment rising in rural. Thank you, Madam.
Minister of Labour and Employment, please.
Yes, Madam. Many private companies, bodies, research organizations conduct different surveys based on their own methodology. CMIE is one amongst them. The official data source on employment and unemployment is Periodic Labour Force Survey, PLFS, which is conducted by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation since 2017-18. The survey period of PLFS is July to June of next year. As per the available annual PLFS report, the estimated unemployment rate on usual status
for persons aged 15 years and above in the country and in rural area during 2018-19 to 2020-21 were 5.8 and 4.2 respectively, which indicates that the unemployment rate has a declining trend in India. Thank you, madam.
Any supplementary questions?
Yes, madam. Can you please provide the details of employment opportunity generated in the country since last 3 years? Thank you, madam.
Minister of Labour and Employment.
Yes, madam. Employment generation coupled with improving employability is the priority of the government. Accordingly, the government of India has taken various steps for generating employment in the country. The government of India has announced Atmanirbhar Bharat package to provide stimulus to business and to mitigate adverse impact of COVID-19. Under this package, the government is providing fiscal stimulus of more than 27 lakh crore. This package comprises of various long-term schemes, programs, policies for making the country self-reliant and to create employment opportunities in the country. The Atmanirbhar Bharat package, the Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana was launched with the effect from 1st October 2020 to incentivize employers for creation of new employment during restoration of loss of employment during COVID-19 pandemic. The terminal date for restoration of employment and beneficiaries was 31st/3/2022 as on 13/7/2022. Benefit have been provided to 59.54 lakh beneficiaries. Thank you, madam.
No more supplementary, please. The question hour is over.
Now the 0 hour begins. Srimati Tamanna.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, पड़ोसी देश श्रीलंका में राजनीतिक अस्थिरता की स्थिति पैदा हो गई। क्या श्रीलंका सरकार ने भारत सरकार से किसी प्रकार की सहायता मांगी है? धन्यवाद महोदय।
Honorable Prime Minister. माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय जी,
एक पड़ोसी और करीबी मित्र होने के नाते भारत श्रीलंका में उत्पन्न आर्थिक स्थिति और अन्य घटनाक्रमों की निगरानी रखता रहा है। भारत सरकार विदेशों में भी सभी भारतीय की सुरक्षा और संरक्षा सुनिश्चित करने के साथ ही उनके समग्र कल्याण के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। भारतीयों की सुरक्षा के संबंधित किसी भी मामले को प्राथमिकता के आधार पर कार्रवाई के लिए मेजबान सरकार के साथ उठाया जाता है। भारत की पड़ोस प्रथम नीति के तहत श्रीलंका को उसके आर्थिक विकास में सहायता करना और साथ ही उसके आर्थिक चुनौतियों में काबू पाने में उसका समर्थन करता रहा है। जनवरी 2022 को शाख ढांचे की तरह से श्रीलंका से 400 मिलियन अमेरिकन डॉलर का मुद्रा विनिमय किया और एशियाई समाशोधन संघ के क्रमिक निपटान को 6 जुलाई 2022 तक स्थगित कर दिया। श्रीलंका को भारत से ईंधन आयात करने के लिए 500 मिलियन अमेरिकन डॉलर की ऋण सुविधा भी प्रदान की गई। इसके अलावा भारत से भोजन, दवाओं और अन्य आवश्यक वस्तुओं की खरीद के लिए 1 मिलियन अमेरिकन डॉलर की ऋण सुविधा भी प्रदान की गई। धन्यवाद महोदय।
श्री आहर।
Honorable Speaker, sir, the illegal returns loan by the private sector bank is a great hurdle for all entrepreneurs, which makes them to take this extreme step. What measures is taken by the government to ace out this independent? Thank you, sir.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Our government has taken various steps to address the difficulties faced by various sectors. For the power sector, a scheme that is Ujjwal Discom Assurance Yojana was introduced to strengthen the financial and operational aspects of distribution companies. Our government has also put in place a new framework aimed at more efficient resolution for distribution companies in the form of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. On top of that, our government has also released rupees 70,000 crores to public sector banks for capital so that the loans will be cleared in time-bound manner. Thank you, sir.
Now the 0 hour is over. Breach of privilege. Srimati Meenakshi.
Honorable Speaker, sir, a serious breach of privilege has been committed by Air India. I had to visit my constituency for an important personal work for a couple of days. On my way back, I was held up in Kolkata airport yesterday. Even after proving that I'm an MD, they denied my tickets. So I had to depend upon Singapore Airlines for the same.
This is a gross violation of our privileges on the part of Air India. So I'm requesting you to allow me to raise a question on this matter now.
Have you given a notice regarding this?
Yes, sir, I have given it to the board.
Well, it will be examined when it comes to me. I shall consider it and let you know my decision.
Thank you, sir.
Papers to be laid on table by Minister. Secretary General, please.
I request the Honourable Minister of Labour and Employment to lay the annual report of the year 2021 to 22.
Honorable Minister of Labour and Employment.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I beg to lay on the table a copy each in English and in Hindi of the following papers. A. Status of rules by states and duties under plus Labour Code as on 11/1/2022. B. Implementation of Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Man-Dhan, a national pension scheme for traders, shopkeepers and self-employed persons. C. Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana. Thank you, sir.
I request the Honourable Minister of External Affairs to lay the annual report of the year 2021 to 22.
Honorable Minister of External Affairs.
Honourable Speaker, sir, I beg to lay on the table a copy of each of the following papers, both in Hindi and English. A. The Policy Planning and Research Division is the nodal divisional ministry for the policy planning and public diplomacy initiatives with a strategic and academic entity. B. Statement by government for accepting the above paper. C. Statement by government giving reasons for the delay in laying the above mentioned papers. Thank you, sir.
Secretary to report the message from the upper chamber of Youth Parliament.
Sir, I have to report the following message received from the Secretary General of the Upper Chamber. I am directed to inform the Youth Parliament that the Energy Conservation Bill 2022 has been passed by the Upper House of the Parliament on 8/8/2022.
Secretary to lay on the table of the House that the Energy Conservation Amendment Bill 2022 passed by the upper chamber.
Sir, I lay on the table of the House the bill as passed by the Upper Chamber.
Honorable members, at this stage of proceeding, I have to make an announcement. On my behalf and on behalf of the honorable members, I have great pleasure in extending a warm welcome to His Excellency, Mr. Ignacio Casas, Minister of Foreign Affairs and European Integration, the Republic of Moldova, who is on a visit to India as our honored guest. The honorable members of the delegation are Ms. Rosario and Mr. Munji. They are now seated in the special box. We wish them a happy and fruitful stay in our country. We also convey a warm greetings and very best wishes to the President, Parliament and friendly people of Moldova. Now, let us take up the calling attention motion. Srimati Ardra, Devasri, Ritika, Tejasri and Vaishnavi to call the attention of Minister of Jal Shakti. Srimati Ardra, please.
Yes, ma'am. According to a recent report by draft early warning system, more than 43.4% of India is railing under drought. Another report released by Niti Aayog states that India is facing its extreme water crisis, and if mitigations are not implemented, India will face 6% loss in its GDP by 2050. What's more worrying is that 11 of India's 20 largest cities is facing its extreme water crisis. And some of the cities are Chennai, Delhi, Jaipur, etc. So what steps have taken by this government to tackle the acute water crisis in our country? Thank you, madam.
Minister of Jal Shakti. Honorable Speaker, madam. Our government is well aware of the fact that our country is facing water scarcity. To combat the problem of water crisis, our government is taking numerous steps. As an initiative, we have launched the Jal Shakti Abhiyan, the national capital amidst rampant water scarcity prevailing in many parts of the country. The scheme aims to make water conservation and promotion of irrigation efficiency a mass movement. Be it government or NGOs, they all have been campaigning on a war-foot manner. An alternative water policy and action plan for India 2022 will be implemented. The visions of the alternative policy are 1. Dealing effectively
effectively with drought and water scarcity requires that local water resources are harnessed, conserved and used in the most optimum manner. 2. People-centered and managed watershed development in India's rainfed areas will be accorded the highest priority. 3. The government is preparing state-wise plan to maintain the life of river systems by constructing check dams, by cleaning them and strengthening their bunds. 4. To ensure water quantity by preventing pollution of water bodies, we are introducing the polluter pays principle. I repeat, the polluter pays principle. I am happy to announce that our government is also planning to introduce Har Ghar Jal mission that promises water for all by 2024. Thank you, madam. Srimati Devasri.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, भारत की जल संग्रहण क्षमता वर्ष के मात्रा से भी कमी है और अगर भारत की प्रमुख शहर सिंचाई को जाए तो हालत और भी भयानक है, जिसके चोरी जल स्रोता साख रहा है और भसन से तेजी नीचे गिर रहा है। इस जल संकट को भारत के शहरों का लाखों लोगों का जीवन में प्रभावित किया है। कई आईटी कंपनियां, रेस्टोरेंट्स और होटल्स पानी के अभाव के कारण बंद हो गया है। खाद्य संबंधी मंत्री को बताया गया कि इस समस्या के निजात मिलने के लिए महाकदम अपनाए गए हैं। धन्यवाद महोदय।
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदया, मैं मानती हूँ भारत की जल संग्रहण क्षमता वर्षा की मात्रा से भी कम है। केंद्रीय जल आयोग ने हाइड्रोग्राफिक सर्वेक्षण के माध्यम से 243 क्षमता जलाशयों पर अवसादन मूल्यांकन अध्ययन किया है और संवेदन तकनीक के माध्यम से 126 जलाशयों का गतिशील भंडारण का माध्यम किया है। 40,000 करोड़ क्यूबिक मीटर पानी वर्षा के माध्यम से प्रतिवर्ष प्राप्त होता रहा है और हालांकि भंडारण क्षमता चाहे वह सतही जल का हो या भूजल की नदी वर्षा के माध्यम से प्राप्त जल की तुलना में कम है और हम छोटे बांधों के निर्माण की भी योजना कर रहे हैं। इसकी भंडारण क्षमता को बढ़ाने के लिए जलाशयों से गाद निकालने की जिम्मेदारी बांध मालिकों की है, जो कि राज्य सरकार या केंद्र सरकार का उपक्रम है। चेन्नई अब 3 विशाल अल्वनीकरण संयंत्रों पर निर्भर है, जिसमें 180 mld की संयुक्त क्षमता है, जो कि शहर के निवासियों को 24 घंटे पानी पहुंचाने के लिए काम कर रहा है। और इसके अलावा नए वीरनम पापाई लाइन भी है, जो कि शहर के निवासियों को कम से कम 235 किलोमीटर डट डेल्टा क्षेत्र के पास से 90 mld लाती है। चेन्नई के बाहर खदानों से अधिक पानी शुद्ध किया जा रहा है और 8.5 लाख करोड़ के उन 5% जनता को जिनके पास कनेक्शन है 10 करोड़ के माध्यम से पानी उपलब्ध करवाया जा रहा है। धन्यवाद महोदया।
श्रीमती रितिका। Madam Speaker, our Honorable Minister is talking about the various measures adopted for managing water crisis, but the Ministry seems to be unbothered about one of the worst practices underlying the management of water resources, that is sand mining mafia. Illegal dredgers have been scooping out large quantities of sand from the riverbeds of our country to satisfy the hunger of the construction industry's ravenous hunger for the humble commodity. Do you think taking away sand from the riverbeds of our country to satisfy the hunger of a few miners and builders is an appreciable step? Due to excessive sand mining in our country, the groundwater level is affected as the river's ability to hold on to water is being depleted. What measures have been taken by the government to solve this issue? Thank you, Madam.
Minister of Jal Shakti. Honorable Speaker, Madam, I would like to point out that stringent rules and restrictions, including orders by the Honorable Supreme Court, Karnataka High Court and the National Green Tribunal is implemented against excessive sand mining and illegal quarrying to curb the incidents. They are expected to first obtain a license and also pay a royalty of amount for the sand they mine to their respective state governments. The laws are stringent and it is not very easy to obtain the license to mine sand. If the construction companies, in a bid to yield profits, surpass the laws and regulations, their license will definitely be cancelled. Thank you, Madam.
Srimati Tejasri. Madam Speaker, from the Honorable Minister, we came to know that effective measures are taken to reduce the crisis of water.
But we are experiencing the most devastating effect of flood in many parts of our country. Is the government enjoying the heavy monsoon? What steps have been taken by the government to ensure the safety of people against the ongoing floods? Thank you, Madam.
Srimati Vaishnavi.
Madam Speaker, it is also noticed that flood control as a subject is not included in any of the legislative lists of India, be it the union list, state list or the concurrent list. Who will take the responsibility of all this disaster, whether the layman or the government? Thank you, Madam.
Minister, please. Honorable Speaker, Madam. It is very easy to claim and point out decisions, but criticizing every move of us will not help the worthy opposition to gain confidence. My ministry, keeping in mind about both the extreme cases, that is flood and water scarcity requires, has taken many appropriate flood management measures too. Though it was unprecedented, our government swung into action immediately and concentrated fully on rescue and relief. The people, they were alerted well in advance about the flood and were evacuated from the flood-prone areas. And about the flood management mechanism that exists in India at the moment, which is operational at two levels, the central level and the state level, including the Flood Control Board, the Central Water Commission, the Faraka Barrage Project Authority, the Ganga Flood Control Commission, the National Disaster Management Authority and the Brahmaputra Board. And as for the other question, even though flood control as a subject is not included in any of the legislative list of India, embankment and drainage are specially mentioned in list 2 or the state list. Thus, it can be basically said that it is the state's responsibility to deal with the floods. Our government in these cases mainly plays the role of an advisor, financial supporter or a catalyst. I am also happy to say that our government is setting up the National Disaster Management Committee in every district of India, especially which are flood prone. We are also providing all-round assistance, multilateral organizations, post-flood rehabilitation program for the reconstruction of the affected states too. Thank you, Madam. Now, the House will take up the legislative business. Minister of Finance, please.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move for leave to introduce the Chit Fund Amendment Bill 2022.
The question is, the leave is granted to introduce the Chit Fund Amendment Bill 2022. Those who are in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those who are against it, please say no.
No.
I think the ayes have it, ayes have it, ayes have it. Leave is granted.
Madam, I introduce the Chit Fund Amendment Bill 2022.
Now, the House will take up the consideration of the National Education Policy Bill. Minister of Education, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I beg to move the National Education Policy Bill for incidential there to be taken into consideration. Madam, one of the founding head of proper education is that there is no legal framework to protect the value of education. Hence, our ministry has set out certain urgent proposals for reforms of education at all levels, right from school to higher education. The newly proposed bill has the following clauses. First, the committee has proposed to rename MHRD as Ministry of Education. Second, Early Childhood Care and Learning. The committee observed that there is several quality-related deficiencies in the early childhood care and learning programs. Hence, the National Education Policy recommends developing a two-part curriculum for early childhood care and education. This will consist of, first, guidelines for up to 3-year-old children for parents and teachers, and second, educational framework for 3 to 8-year-old children. This would be implemented and developed by expanding and developing the Anganwadi system and co-locating Anganwadis with primary schools. The Anganwadi teachers and educators will also be given an opportunity to participate in the 6-month learning program to make their teaching more effective. 3. The Right to Education Act, RT Act 2009. Currently, the Act provides for free and compulsory education for the children between 6 to 14 years. The National Education Policy recommends extending the coverage of the Act for children between 3 to 18 years. 4. Curriculum framework. The current structure of the school education must be restructured on the basis of the developmental needs of students. This would consist of a 5-3-3-4 design comprising first 5 years of foundational stage, 3 years of pre-primary and classes 1 and 2. Second, 3 years of propagatory stage, classes 3 to 5. And third, 5 years of middle stage for classes 6 to 8 and 4 years of secondary stage for classes 9 to 12. National Curriculum Framework will be revisited and updated by the end of 2022 and will be made available in all regional languages. 5. School exam reforms. The committee observed that the current board examinations cause stress among students. To track students' progress throughout their educational experience, the National Education Policy recommends state census examinations in classes 3, 5 and 8. Further, it recommends restructuring the current board examinations to test only core concepts, skills and higher order capacities. 6. Regulatory structure and accreditation. It proposes setting up the National Higher Education Regulatory Authority, which would replace the individual regulators in higher education, including professional and vocational education. The National Education Policy recommends separating NAAC from UGC into an autonomous and individual body. All existing higher education institutions will be accredited by 2030. 7. Professional development of faculty. The National Education Policy recommends the introduction of a permanent employment track system for faculty in all higher educational institutions by 2030. 8. Moving towards a liberal approach. The National Education Policy recommends making undergraduate programs interdisciplinary by redesigning their curriculum. 9. Educational governance. Creation of a National Education Commission or Rashtriya Shiksha Ayog as an apex body to be headed by the Prime Minister. It will oversee the implementation and functioning of several bodies, including National Council of Educational Research and Training and the proposed National Higher Education Regulatory Authority. 10. Education in Indian languages. The National Education Policy recommended the 3-language formula should be provided and continued. Flexibility in the implementation should be provided. Foreign languages will be given as a selective subject to the students. To promote Indian languages, the institutions of Prakrit, Persian and Prakriti will also be set up. Madam Speaker, I am confident that all honourable members of this House, irrespective of party affiliation, will welcome this bill wholeheartedly and through it help to reform education in all levels from school to higher education. With these words, I now move that the National Education Policy Bill there to be taken into consideration. Thank you, Madam.
Motion moved that the bill to provide more effective reforms for education, National Education Policy Bill there to be taken into consideration. Mr. Jonathan.
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, हमारी सरकार एक ऐसा बिल लाई है जो कार्य करने की इच्छा शक्ति को बढ़ाने के साथ साथ हमें कभी भी पुरानी नीतियों की तरफ झांकने नहीं देगा। मैं इसके सुधार में कुछ सुझाव देना चाहता हूँ। एक विद्यालय को परिसर बनाने के लिए हमें कई ब्लॉक विद्यालयों को शामिल किया जाना चाहिए, जिसमें एक माध्यमिक विद्यालय और पड़ोस के सभी प्राथमिक विद्यालयों को शामिल किया जाना चाहिए। सारांश में कहा जा सकता है कि यह बिल स्वीकार करता है कि पर्व बाल्यावस्था देखा बाल और शिक्षा अर्थात ECCE में निवेश बच्चों को नैतिक, रचनात्मक, सहानुभूतिपूर्ण और उत्पादक मानव में विकसित होने का सबसे अच्छा मौका देता है। इसलिए मैं इस बिल का समर्थन करता हूँ। धन्यवाद महोदय।
Honorable Speaker Madam, there has been a steep rise in teacher shortage and lack of professionally qualified teachers and development of teachers for non-educational purposes. I would like to know from the Honorable Minister whether the policy recommends any criteria for improving the teachers' quality. And for teacher training, the existing B.Ed program should be replaced by a 4-year integrated B.Ed program that contains high-quality content and practical training. For every 100 rupees that our government spends to run our country, the education sector gets less than 4 rupees only. I would suggest that investment in education should go up from the existing 10% to overall public expenditure to 20%. Thank you, Madam.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Honorable Speaker, Madam. The overarching policy for education development will be defeated if we fail to design a system in which every citizen gets good quality education. The first task before us is to intake complete care for qualitative education. I would like to suggest Two simple reforms for the welfare of students. First, educated members of the local community are passionate about teaching and aiding in this crisis will help by holding remedial classes with students grouped according to their level under the guidance and advice of teachers. Second, the public and private institutions will be treated on par and education will remain a not-for-profit activity. I reiterate, not-for-profit. Thank you, Madam.
Mr. Balan?
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I am wholeheartedly supporting the bill. Bill is the demand of the hour. Madam, I would like to give you suggestions. Drop out the age 15 and above who are nearly illiterate. We give an option to attend adult literacy program. Social workers also can bring back the robots in the school. Madam, other provisions are already discussed in August gathering. This is my submission, Madam.
Sri Vaishnav?
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I thank you for giving me an opportunity to participate in this debate. I will not go into the different aspects of this bill. It is very good that it will be beneficial for the students. But one important matter of concern is that there have been so many cases of exploitation of students in our country. The safety of children has become a crucial point of discussion across the country. The UNICEF defines child protection as strengthening of country environment capacity and responses to prevent and protect children from violence, exploitation, abuse, neglect and the effect of conflict. I request the ministry to make some more policies to take stringent action against this. Thank you, Madam.
Minister, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I am sure that the bill has developed a clear-cut mechanism to address all the issues raised by the honorable members. Other parts of the bill has already announced by the Prime Minister. I once again thank you all for your support and need your cooperation in implementing this measure for reforms of education. Thank you, Madam.
The question is that the bill to provide more effective reforms for education to the students. National Education Policy Bill that to be taken into consideration. Those who are in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those who are against it, please say no. No. I think the ayes have it, ayes have it, ayes have it. Motion is adopted. Close by clause consideration. Now, the question is that those who raised objection, are you moving it?
No, Madam. In the view of the reply given by the Minister, I am not pressing my amendment. Thank you, Madam.
Now, the question is that clause 2 to 10 stand part of the bill. Those who are in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those who are against it, please say no. No. I think the ayes have it, ayes have it, ayes have it. Motion is adopted.
Madam, I move the National Education Policy Bill to be passed. Thank you, Madam.
Motion moved that the bill is passed. Now, the House will take up the private member resolution. Srimati Malavika to move the resolution.
Madam, I move the following resolution. This House recommends that the government should take more effective measures to amend the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Bill 2008. India has a sizable population of senior citizens. Old age is a sensitive phase. Elderly people need more care and comfort to lead a healthy life without worries and anxiety. But most of the senior citizens are suffering abuses, verbally, physically and emotionally. The reasons for the abuses are mostly emotional and economic dependence of the victims on the abuser. Hence, I would like to place some suggestions before the House. First, senior citizen care home must be established and maintained by the center or the state government. Second, whoever having the care or protection of a senior citizen or a parent or intentionally abuses them or abandons them must be punished with imprisonment of not less than 3 months. Third, the center and the state government must take suitable measures to create more age-friendly environment, transportation, information and communication, including appropriate systems and other public facilities. 4. The state government must set up and run helpline which shall be linked to healthcare facilities, police department and other related agencies and shall have one common number across the nation. Thank you, Madam.
Mr. George?
आदरणीय अध्यक्ष महोदय जी, हेल्पेज और अन्य वित्तीय सेवाएं प्रदान करने वाली संस्थाएं हर दिन वरिष्ठ नागरिकों से ऐसे कौन प्राप्त कर रहे हैं जिससे किसी का भी दिल दहल जाए। लेकिन बना यह है कि दुर्व्यवहार सहने वाले लोग शिकायत दर्ज करने से हिचकिचाते हैं। प्रतिशोध का डर इतना है कि वे इसके बारे में सोचते तक नहीं है। इससे भी इनकार नहीं किया जा सकता है कि बहुत से लोग इस कानून से अवगत ही नहीं है जो वरिष्ठ नागरिकों को दुर्व्यवहार और परित्याग से बचाता है। धन्यवाद महोदय जी।
Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment, please.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, I would like to say to the Honorable Member that our government is very much worried about the brutalities faced by the senior citizens of our country. Our government is taking all the necessary steps to cease the neglect, disrespect and abandonment of senior citizens. To provide for more effective provisions for the maintenance and welfare of parents and senior citizens, the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Amendment Bill is enacted. The various provisions are: 1. The Act mandates state governments to constitute maintenance tribunal and appellate tribunal to deal with the proceedings under the Act. 2. The Act states that the parents and grandparents who are unable to maintain by themselves can also seek maintenance from their children. Childless senior citizens can also demand maintenance from their relative who is a legal heir of them. 3. The application for maintenance shall be submitted person or registered post or online or by any other means to the maintenance tribunal. If the children or the sourced relative neglects or refuse to maintain the senior citizens, the maintenance tribunal can order the former to make monthly allowances that shall not exceed rupees 10,000. If senior citizens are intentionally abused or abandoned by caretakers, they must be punished with an imprisonment of 3 months, which may be extended up to 6 months, or a fine of rupees 10,000 or more. Every state government shall maintain a confidential district-wise digital database of senior citizens living alone. Any unauthorized access to the data will be punishable. Our ministry is taking all the necessary steps to establish multi-service daycare center for senior citizens instead of senior citizens care home, which will provide facilities such as healthcare, peer interaction, recreation and entertainment for senior citizens. Thank you, madam.
Mr. Alan Krishna.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, for your kind information, our ministry is planning to provide job opportunities for senior citizens who are healthy and willing to work. Thank you, Madam.
Ms. Vaiga.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, when 33% of skilled youth are unemployed, our government is planning to give job opportunities to the senior citizens who are at the ages of 60s and 70s. What a great idea our government is having. Thank you, ma'am.
Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment.
Honorable Speaker, Madam, our ministry assures the House that the state governments will prescribe a comprehensive action plan for providing protection to life and property of senior citizens. Madam, through you, I request Srimati Malaviga to withdraw her resolution. Thank you, Madam.
Srimati Malavika.
Madam, I am grateful to honorable members for lending support to my resolution. In view of assurance given by honorable minister, and since government is already working to deal with this problem, I hope that the government will take all the necessary measures to protect senior citizens of our country. Therefore, I may be allowed to withdraw my resolution. Thank you, madam.
Has the honorable member leave of the House to withdraw her resolution?
Yes.
The resolution by leave of the House is withdrawn. Now, the House is adjourned to meet again tomorrow at 11 a.m.